Good morning. Hi, so as Sarah just said, my name is Kay Binder. I've come from DG CNECT from the E-Infrastructure and Science Cloud Unit based in Luxembourg. It's fine that we're running 5 minutes late because I'm probably going to take about 10 minutes to introduce to you the recent initiative the Commission we're currently working on, or just started working on, which is the Mission Earth initiative. So before I go into the exact details of the concept and what we're proposing, the creation of, it's probably best to start with a bit of motivation and the political background for this initiative. So with the advent of exascale computing, we now have the possibility to significantly improve our modelling accuracy and therefore reduce uncertainty in complex systems analysis, specifically for policy support purposes, which I'll go into in more detail later. So this serves as the foundation for the Commission initiative to develop a very high-precision model of the Earth, as mentioned in the European Green Deal, which I'm sure you've all seen, which was published back in December. So to do this, the Commission will bring together European scientific and industrial excellence to develop a very high-precision digital model of the Earth. So this is a key now commitment of the Commission to work on. So the concept itself. So number one, Mission Earth aims to develop a very high precision digital model of the Earth. So through the convergence of IT tools and capabilities developed already within the Commission that we've been working on, for example, artificial intelligence, data infrastructures, HPC, supercomputing, the Euro HPC initiative, which you may have heard of, as well as advances in cloud computing, etc., is now given us the opportunity now to really start working on converging all of these capabilities that we've been investing in to produce something that can really help certain policy areas and policy priorities of the current Commission. So it will be a multidimensional representation of our planet that will enable users to interact in a holistic manner with the vast amounts of natural and socio-economic information gathered about the Earth. Users will not be limited to moving through space, but can also travel through time, thus become capable to assess not only the impact of challenges, but also the efficiency of proposed solutions and legislative measures, for example. It will be a comprehensive geographic knowledge organisation/analysis system with a global atlas as the principal user face. So it will be different to systems that already exist, such as Google Earth, which is simply one of many global geographic information systems. But among other things, it will primarily allow decision makers and EU policy makers to evaluate legislative measures both ex ante and ex post. So on the objectives, the objectives need to become better than global competitors, but to develop a core product that can be seamlessly expanded and serve specific EU needs based on policy priorities. So the list that we've got on the screen, with current policy priorities in mind, we had a workshop, the kick workshop, so to speak, back in November 2019, where we gathered specific user DGs that would probably find this project most interesting, so DG Klima, Environment, Mare, Agri, Eco, etc., to discuss exactly the purposes that they could use this initiative for within their policy-making decisions, and have already begun mapping a series of vertical digital twins that we could start developing with these priorities in mind. So these are the current examples of digital twins, so vertical digital twins. That could be included in the Horizon Europe work programme for 2021 to 2022. So the idea would be to develop multiple digital twins with vertical use cases that would be able to be eventually integrated into a larger Mission Earth model, so where we have the larger integrated model of the whole Earth, but that is obviously a long-term project. So it would be incrementally building these digital twins to be able to combine together at a later point, with DG CNECT's role being to sort of be a horizontal, provide the red line between them so that all of the digital twins, whether developed within the different DGs, obviously have this common criteria and base principles so that they can, which would then allow to the integration of them together at an end point. In terms of working on these common criteria, etc., we're still very much in the early stages. The JRC are just about to start a 6-month study to go into more detail of exactly what these common criteria would be and how we would start building these. and then we hope to have another workshop in the next 2 to 3 months to look at governance structures and more the details of exactly how we will do this. Yes, that has been made available to everyone, which also has his contact details on if there's anything that I cannot provide with you today. But otherwise, that's what I have to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions? Okay. Yes, one question.
Yeah. So the idea was that each pillar was sort of a policy priority within, specifically coming from the European Green Deal that obviously we want to be working on in the immediate future. And then within each policy priority, we came up with all of the specific different model twins that could potentially be created developed within different DGs, depending on what their priority would be. In terms of selecting what we start working on first, or what different DGs start working on first, that's again something we need to decide in terms of what exactly the key priority should be in the immediate future for the next work programme.
Thank you. My name is Murray Roberts. I coordinate the Atlas and iAtlantic projects. It's a fantastic concept, and it's actually one in Atlas we started debating actually through the lens of how we explain the Atlantic to people, how we visualize and simulate the Atlantic. I wondered, my question though is, how are you going to reach out to projects to gather information in? So we have collected an awful lot of very relevant information at the North Atlantic scale, for instance, on the distribution and functioning of vulnerable marine ecosystems. Is there a plan to engage with projects so that you capture that information and move it forward into this digital twin activity? Yeah, no, so absolutely one of the key priorities for us is obviously to not do work that's already been done at the end of the day. We already have such a vast amount of data and knowledge that has been generated within the EU, within Europe. So the idea would really be to try and gather all of the data that we already have and use the infrastructures that we already have so that we don't, copy work or do work again, if that makes sense. It does. Just to bear in mind, the first round of the Galway Statement projects, they end actually in the next few months. And then that important, although data are archived, data is available, that knowledge base from the people that were involved starts to disperse very rapidly once projects end.
Thank you. Okay. Last question here. What scale? I think North Atlantic perspective.
In terms of how this builds incrementally, I think the focus would mainly be on within the geographic, working from Europe and then outwards. The end target, the end goal for several years down the line would be to have an all-encompassing model of the whole Earth. In terms of how we build that, it would start with priorities, which I guess for the EU would be closer to home, and then expanding outwards. Thank you.
Oh, very last question.
Sorry, yes, a short one. In relation with the infrastructures, the European research infrastructures belonging to ESPRI, for example, like ICORS or EMSO, I think that they are providing continuously data. They are not working like in a project base. So I think the interaction may be quite good with your activity. So have you thought in order to have synergies with these infrastructures that are providing data in a continuous base?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the idea would be to really have a synergy between what we've already done to then go forward. And the idea with this is that we now have the main thing that CNECT bring is the computing capabilities. So to try and link all of the data that we already have together to build something really concrete, such as this initiative. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay.